Hello, sixth grade. Welcome to your Wednesday assignment. I'm going to try to make it as brief as possible. Before we go to the fiercest monster debate, I wanted to go over your narrative reflection that's due Friday. On my website, I have a sample. Make sure that you have the purple sentences or some form of them so that I know that this is the paragraph about narrative tools, this is the paragraph about revise and edit, this is the paragraph about reading your stories out loud to the class. You have a sentence as an introduction and a sentence as a conclusion, and we have that structure no matter what we write. Um, Notice that I have the parts in red are what you need also. I gave 1, 2, 3 tools. I talked about a weakness. I talked about what I did in the revise and edit process that worked for me. Most of you could write down the explode and paragraph because I could hear those in your story, and they did make them a lot better because there's a lot more detail and a lot more of what I was looking for with your 5 senses and all of that. My weakness, and then one thing I did well, one thing I could have done better, and then someone in class who did a great job, and the name, and then what they did that was good. And notice that I did that on all of them. I didn't just say that I used the checklist, I explained what I did in the checklist. I didn't just say that I used description, I kind of explained why and gave a little bit of a detail for each one of them. So it's not just a list sentence and you're done. So make sure you explain what you actually did in your writing to make your writing better. And I thought all of you did a great job. We have had fun with it so far, and I look forward to hearing the rest of you give yours on Thursday. And if you haven't read out loud yet, then Thursday we will finish. So you will be able to do that part by Friday, but you can at least do the part about who you've heard so far that you've enjoyed. So that's done, and it's on my website for you. You can work on it on Wednesday today as well, but you do not have to. If you're already done, just make sure you did all these things to get all the points that you're going to get. It's worth quite this reflection's worth quite a few points because you get a point for each purple sentence. You get a point for using the red words, the using these formal way of writing with the example. For example, one tool, another tool, the third tool. So my weakness, if you use those terms to explain what you're going to say, you get extra points, and then what you actually say, you get points. So if you don't say enough, I cannot give you the points for what this is worth. For your debate, you are going to get this on Friday, the graphic organizer to help you think through, and you're going to do your beast name and a quick list of their abilities. And some of you have more than 4. I put 4 dots there just in case. But what are its abilities? And you need at least 2. You're going to make a claim, and this is similar to what you do in science. You're going to have a complete sentence. You're going to use the keywords from the prompt. The prompt is the question you've been asked. What is the fiercest mythological beast out there? So this is your introduction. So you put the beast's name. I would put like Hydra is the fiercest mythological beast ever because it has poisonous blood and it has multiple heads that regenerate. So you're going to give me that kind of sentence. I want you to type it down below in this space. So this is just there to help you. Then you're going to start doing your reasons. Each reason is its own paragraph. Whatever reason was here is going to go here. Whatever reason is here is going to go here. So your first reason that Hydra is the fiercest is because it has poisonous blood. And you are going to repeat fiercest in every paragraph because that's what this is all about. These are those structure sentences that I've been talking about. The evidence here is just like in science. You need to give me evidence to prove it. So just because there's poisonous blood, well, what can that do? So you have to reason through and give the reason why that would be difficult to defeat. Well, if you have poison, not only does it have poisonous blood, but everything around it's poisonous. Its breath is poisonous. So if you can't get near it and you can't touch its blood or you die, then that's pretty formidable. Your next reason will go here. Another reason that Hydra is the fiercest is because I would say if it's multiple heads that regenerate, and then the evidence to prove it is where you start describing those, like tell them the facts. You can use anywhere from 5 to 9 heads, And then if you cut one off, anywhere from 1 to 2 grow back. So then it kind of keeps regenerating and has all these heads. And if it has all of these heads, nothing can sneak up on it because there's a head that's looking in every direction. And you have multiple sets of eyes, multiple sets of teeth, to bite and snap at you, and be on the lookout. So you kind of have to reason through why that ability is tough and tough to beat. So this one has an offensive weapon with the poison, and it has a defensive weapon with all the heads that are also offensive because it can bite you and kill you with its bite. Um, the last part is just you have to have a call to action as your conclusion. You want the audience to agree with you, and you will be speaking to an audience. The class needs to be convinced that yours is the best. Whatever you put down on your essay is what you can say when you're debating, unless you do research on the other monster. So you can't just add other things that you don't have in your paper. So you want this to be well researched. That's why I'm giving this to you now, so that you can start thinking about it, even though it won't be assigned until Friday. So this is what's coming and what you should be thinking about. You need to check your monster and start seeing what you're going to do. I'm not assigning this or giving this to you until Friday, though. I don't want it to get confused with the other things we're working on, your narrative reflections first. I have some samples, and I think you will hear this language. Blank is the fiercest because of blank and blank. My first reason that blank is the fiercest. Another reason, and then agree with me. You're going to hear that language in these samples, but not all of these samples are well reasoned. Not all of them have good evidence to go with their reasons. So let's take a look. Hiss, don't look at me. I will turn you to stone. So a good hook to grab our attention. I'm the fiercest beast. I'm Medusa. The two reasons I'm the fiercest are I literally will turn you to stone if you look in my eyes. Also, the second reason is I have snake hair and the snakes bite. So their introduction shows you where they're going with their reasons, and we know why this is the fiercest. One reason I'm the fiercest is I can turn you to stone. How can you kill a monster you can't look at? That would be really hard to kill Medusa, but Perseus did it. I have a full garden of statues. The last reason I'm the fiercest is I have snake hair. I don't think you would want to comb my hair. That would be pretty painful if you did. Also, some people are scared of snakes. I took this out because you are not allowed to do this. This is not something I want to see. I will take off a lot of points. We don't say those are the reasons. We just restate them in the conclusion. So, I'm the fiercest beast. They should have said, I can turn you to stone and I have snake hair. So agree with me and say, I'm the fiercest beast. Please and thank you. So this one has a lot of the structure that they were asking for. So they did okay. But the problem is there's some things that don't add up. Turning you to stone, the first sentence is a very good sentence. How can you do it? But then telling someone that somebody already did it is not good, because if your myth has somebody kill you, then somebody can use that against you, and you don't want to provide it because a lot of people they don't care to look it up or find it. So the fact that Perseus killed her shows that she can be killed, and that is a weakness. So don't tell people your weakness, but it happens every year. You would think it wouldn't, but it happens every year. And having a full garden of statues doesn't make sense unless you say there's a lot of people who have tried, and just look at my garden full of statues to show that they didn't succeed because I'm too tough. You can't even get near me. Then it would have worked. The last reason with the snake hair doesn't make sense. I don't think you're going to be in a cage match with another monster and they're going to worry about combing your hair. So that wasn't a good reason. They needed to do something else with it. The problem was Medusa really only has one trick, this turning you to stone. So the fact that she's a huge snake, you could have used the fact that she could whip you with her tail, and that she has fangs, like a snake that could bite into you. But this wasn't a very strong monster, so this person didn't really know what to do. So the argument itself isn't that great. The Chimera is next, and these are all student samples, but I don't let you use these monsters anymore because they were too easily beaten. So Whoosh, I claim that Chimera is the most fiercest beast ever to live. This is because it has three different heads, a lion, a snake, and a goat head, and breathe fire out of its lion head. It can actually breathe fire out of any of them, but you need to know your monster. My first reason that Chimera is the most fiercest of all is because he has three heads and six different types of eyes looking at you, and you can't sneak up on him. So, if a person tried to, it would not go well because he will see him before he's close enough to harm him. The second reason is that he can burn everything and cook as much food as he wants, so he will never go hungry. This is helpful when you're fighting someone or something and you can cook them so they can't fight anymore and you win. You do not want to do this because this is the kind of thing I do not want you to do. Like the Chimera is the most fiercest of all because it has three heads and it can burn you. Now, don't argue with me, but agree with me that Chimera is the most fiercest beast ever. Okay, so again, you hear that language. They have the structure. We write numbers out, so don't do a number and here and here. But there's a problem with theirs too. This one wasn't too bad if it didn't have so many spelling errors, but this one is a problem. If it can blow fire at you, talking about food so it wouldn't go hungry doesn't make sense. You know, you're going to shish kebab and burn down to ashes anything that comes near you. So, again, if it can't get near you or it's going to be burned up, then it's got a great weapon for it. It's an offensive weapon and a defensive weapon. So, that's kind of what you need to be thinking about. So, we have that one. This one, already I can tell it's going to be better because it's just longer. It has more evidence. So the more evidence and the way more you can think through your abilities and how it would fight something, the better off you'll be. So roar, that is the sound of the fierce Hydra. The Hydra is the fiercest beast ever because it is poisonous and have multiple heads that regenerate. I believe that the Hydra is the fiercest because of it is poisonous. The Hydra's breath can kill people from more than a mile away. How are you supposed to defeat a beast that is huge and has poisonous breath when everything that is living has to breathe? If you injure me and draw blood, be careful, you are dead because Hydra's blood is poisonous too. You can't get close to me and you can't draw blood, so the Hydra wins. Another reason I believe that the Hydra is the fiercest is that when you cut off one head, its heads, it regenerates. This makes it the fiercest because you would usually think to go for the head when you are going up against a huge beast, but if you chop off its head, you have an even bigger problem because it just added another head. That is more teeth to maim you, more eyes to watch you and defend itself, and there's no stopping the Hydra. In conclusion, believe me that the Hydra is the fiercest beast in the world. There is no beating the Hydra. So this is the energy you kind of want. This is well written. There's a couple little errors in it, but they've made their point, and it makes sense, and they have enough to say when they go up against another monster. So this is the type of thing that you want to shoot for. But you can see they all had that language because they used this. And if you have that structure, you'll do better for me. If you have better reasoning like this one, you will do better against your opponent and have more chance to win. So you will use this piece of paper with these paragraphs. You will hold it in front of you on your iPad, or I'll have it printed if we're in class. And this is what you're going to read from and use to debate your monster. If it's not written on the paper as an ability, you don't get to say that you have that ability. So make sure that you've researched your monster well. And if you have questions, I'm available. I'll be on the Meet all day. Some of you have some missing work or some quizzes that you need to redo, and we can do that over the Meet. And I can go through it with you. And I'm just available. So have a great Wednesday.